let's do that. So this is March 27th, 7 p.m. For the Stormwater Task Force. The agenda lists all topics which might be discussed at the meeting and those that are reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. Members of the public are welcome to attend this meeting in person. Please note, while the option for remote attendance or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast. Okay, we do not appear to have any public comment. I don't think we have anybody in the.
Nope, nobody's on.
Announcements. We don't have any announcements at the moment. All right, board discussion, appointment of a vice chair. Was there any ideas? Was new member Jenny being voluntold for the spot?
I thought we should have, because what happened when, who was it that left? Richard.
Okay.
I mean, not that you're not leaving, right?
No. Goodness.
But there was there was no follow-up, it just fell through.
Sure.
We can nominate Jenny. I'm sure she'd love that. Or we can wait.
Yeah, I'll say
I'd
we'll.
rather wait till we have everyone.
Yeah, let's do that. Did anybody have any thoughts or notes from last meeting CEI presentation?
It was very informative.
It was.
Mhm.
It
I
was
liked it a
good.
lot. I'm glad
Yeah.
that we did that.
I did a little bit more digging, because I was really surprised at how, having already prepared stormwater things would happen with like a credit system, was real disappointed about the idea that then that means it's more expensive for everybody else. That was the only major thing I had. I did a little bit of comparing with the other towns from the data we had and what I could find. And, the presentation we were given seemed pretty reasonable. I guess now from there, yeah, that's all I have about that. The next thing I have on here is the Chapter 90 funding. I saw an email exchange, but I didn't get a chance to look into it, so I'm not sure what Chapter 90 is.
Well, chapter 90 is money the state gives us.
Oh,
Their roads, basically, and drainage would be included too.
Sure.
So I've kind of put together a 5-year spending plan for chapter 90.
Equipment too, there's a lot of equipment.
Yep, you
that
can
be
purchase
covered, right?
equipment. Did the town manager
No.
present this at all?
No.
Okay, I wasn't
I don't-
sure. He asked me to do this.
I know, I think we're
Yeah.
going to have something, but it's
Yeah.
probably not till after.
Yeah,
So these are
Well,
town
The
roads
budget
now?
set.
town roads, yeah.
Okay, so
That
state,
are
so it's not state money for state. Well,
Right.
Okay.
state money for town
town
roads, as long as
roads.
the roads are accepted.
Yeah.
And Mass Dot's aware of it.
It's a reimbursement.
Okay,
Right.
nice.
Yeah, so I just put in a request for the first 4. Right, so it's almost $700,000. So with the mill and pave on Lemons to Shirley and Pioneer Drive and Fort Pond Road.
So is all this gonna get done this year? The FY 24 that you have? Has some of it
Well, the
started?
mill and pave will, yeah.
Okay.
Purchase
Oh,
the
you're
air
gonna, you
compressor.
can get the air compressor
Yeah.
through
I
this?
can get it through there. I should be able to do that. In the engineering for the
And the full
sidewalk.
sidewalks, yeah,
That's,
okay.
that's gonna start, I probably won't spend the whole 100,000 in fiscal 24. Probably most of it would be in 25.
Yeah, the only comment I heard was that even though we have nearly $2 million in chapter 90, it's not enough to do everything that has to be done.
No,
There's of course more projects.
right. Yeah, so obviously you could see him spending a lot in the first few years, but then it goes down, down, down.
So is
Not
this,
spending so
like,
much.
can you explain this? Cause there's 18, 15, 947. And then you're subtracting the estimated cost and you're working way down to a balance of 1163, 947. So and that's for this fiscal year. So how
Yeah.
does the balance of 1578 in fiscal year 2025? Where's that come from?
Well, every year we get more funding. It's around 415,000. That's why I got it in that different highlight there, right? So that's showing the money's going up.
Oh,
So,
okay, this is
right.
what's in your
That's,
budget balance in some fund, and they give
Yeah.
you more money, and, okay, so.
Yeah, they give us more money every year. and
Oh, I
it's-
anticipate chapter funding, fiscal funding, I get it,
Yeah,
I see a line item right
it's been
there.
around 415,000, give or take.
It's not adjusted for inflation,
New, and it hasn't really changed in many years, so
wow.
there's a lot of towns are pushing the state hard to, bring those
Yeah,
numbers up.
it kind of should go up with
Cause
inflation.
it doesn't go too far, right?
Yeah,
is the idea here, so this is the expected, what's gonna be going, or, what it is that we're doing with the chapter 90 funds, is the idea that at some points here, we can be able to slot in, stormwater, sorry, I've lost the words, the stormwater purchases that need to happen.
Yeah, so I already have some, right? So in fiscal
Okay.
25, drainage swales and on Reservoir Road, drainage improvements, Laurel Lane, drainage improvements, Hemlock Drive.
Okay,
So those are stormwater related.
sure.
is there any other equipment you need
Um,
that would
we
be covered by
need
this?
one more dump truck. Um. I was hoping that'd come through in capital funding,
Next year?
yeah,
Yeah,
right, so the equipment I put on here, I kind of kept small. Right? Well, $30,000, not
Yeah.
small, but compared to a dump
Well,
truck, it's very small.
yeah. Yeah,
And then fiscal 26 had the mini excavator with trailer. That's something we'd use almost all for stormwater related purposes, almost exclusively.
yeah, I had heard that there was a plan being put together for chapter 90, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess the town manager hasn't presented it yet, so maybe I shouldn't have tonight, but there it is.
So are these all funds, are you the manager of these funds, or is it other departments within the town?
Just me,
Okay.
right, because it's for roads and
Sure,
bridges
and stormwater.
stormwater, and that's all into me.
Does it bother you that you have to wait till 2026 to get your mini excavator?
Yeah.
Why don't you move them forward? The money's in the budget, right?
And you gotta pick your battles, right?
Yeah. I guess, well, actually, it is a good question. If that is a line item that you would really want sooner rather than later, and there's, at the end of the year, there's gonna be 1.1 million left in the budget, why don't you move it forward?
You could,
Okay,
you could.
There's no limit. Well, yeah, I guess you have to be able to pay for it and be reimbursed, but there's no limit how much you can, it doesn't have to be spread out equally or anything like that.
Nope.
yeah, and so I was just wondering why, things are planned out the way they are.
Mhm.
That's, I kept it there. That's where I had it in my, capital plan.
Yeah.
It's, capital plan, there's a lot of requests there, so I had to kind of spread it out, tried to make it even. Each year, more or less, some years more than others, and that's where it ended up.
So you can use chapter 90 to fund the pavement management plan
Some of
in the
it, yeah,
future?
yeah. Yeah, so going forward, the chapter 90 funds for pavement management go down, right? So-
Yeah. Well,
So
except.
this year's a
one is
big
it.
chunk, next year is much smaller, and the year after that, smaller, and then I'm not showing any.
Yeah, I
But
thought
I mean, that's.
normally-
This could change, right?
we normally do
hopefully,
50,000, right, towards the fund. the
50,000 additional,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
With the goal of reaching a
a
million.
million, yep,
So if we get to a million, yeah, we probably don't need any
okay.
here.
Well, it's gonna be a while. to
Do
get
other
to a million.
projects, so that's why I said in the future years, I said drainage improvements, right?
Mhm.
Hopefully by then, we can handle
Yep.
the paving.
So if we establish a stormwater utility and we pulled in so much money from the residents, this would add?
Correct.
But we'd have to pay people too, right?
Right.
What do you mean by that?
We'd have to get additional personnel to run the help with stormwater, right?
Right,
Oh.
time to pass this
Perfect
out.
setup.
Oh,
So right, the last meeting, we talked about,
How to
A
structure
budget.
the, yeah, yeah,
budget, right?
right.
So
Oh, another budget.
I kind of threw this together, this real preliminary. I passed it off to Nick at CEI, and he's like, oh, great, good place to start. And so he's working on it. Yeah, so like you said, personnel, I got 3 new people.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yeah.
when it says one big project, two small projects, what is kind of the scope of those?
I figured a big project, roughly $200,000, and then
Sure.
2 smaller that are around 50,000 each.
Okay.
So if I like the 50,000 each, we could replace a pipe or two,
Sure.
something kind of small.
Page
It's
Street's
my
a big one. Flat Hill and Page is a
Yeah, it'd be
big
big.
one, yeah.
That's probably, good. It would be more than 200,000.
Okay, so is this the first year?
Yeah, that's,
Yeah,
so a
I'm not
million
complaining,
take,
I'm just saying,
or,
we need
well,
money.
first year, but it would be continual.
some
each
of it
year.
would be,
Yeah,
so the equipment
The equipment
obviously
would
would
not-
fall off, yeah.
yeah.
right. So
But,
the equipment, I guess one way to purchase the equipment is take a loan and then just pay the loan payment each year.
Like a 5-year loan,
Yeah,
and pay it like almost divided into 5 chunks.
right,
And after 5 years, you would be able to buy more equipment and your old equipment would be paid off.
right. Yeah, something we'd have to work out.
so to get a stormwater utility going, it's $1.1 million roughly, just for the first year to get it.
Well, this is my best guess right now.
Oh, yeah,
so-
no.
Right? I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do anything with money, right?
It's a
Yeah.
good target to start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
If you
And
want,
then-
you want him to do his job, give him money.
yeah, and then after the first year, after you have your equipment, you're down to annually 800, 900,000,
yeah,
looks like.
yeah,
This year.
No, this, after.
Yeah, I know,
the
I
equipment,
know.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's the inflation thing that kind of,
Oh,
I guess, where I work, on occasion we do projections and anything contract related, you always see an inflation factor
yeah.
going forward. If it's a 5-year contract, cost of labor goes up like 5 times 2.5% or something like that.
Mm.
So you just can't get away from inflation. So I guess this is the first time, but so going forward, I would just say this times 1.03 for the next year, and times 1.03 for the next year after that,
Yeah.
yada,
makes
yada,
sense.
yada.
and so like, would CEI consulting come out of this?
Yes.
As well, okay.
Yeah, so where did I put them in? Like under expenses, I had 50,000 for engineering, for
Okay.
stormwater, so that would be CEI. Yeah,
So did you do any calculations of what that would mean for a utility bill for residents?
I haven't
We
done.
had 600,000, didn't we have 600,000 in our mind going?
I don't remember. I
Something-
don't trust my
yeah.
memory.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so this is like pushing twice that, and I think it was like $60 per resident annually. So now you're talking maybe $100 per resident annually.
Did we have that, the number we were given, was that just residents? Did that include businesses?
It should include businesses too.
Yeah.
Basically everyone who pays a property tax bill, I think, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Sure, okay.
but I think
I don't know why I
the
thought that.
$60 or whatever it was, we kind of roughed out was just residents. So hopefully a good chunk of it will come from businesses, right? We didn't really look at that.
Yeah,
Okay,
So, we're saying
Especially the
$100,
ones with the big
it'd be
parking
less
lots.
than $100, yeah. Right, they should be paying more.
okay, okay.
So my question is, so this would be, so that you do stormwater work now, obviously.
Yeah.
And you have an existing budget. So how does that compare to this one?
Well, this is a lot more than,
Yeah, so I guess the question is, okay, this is what you would anticipate if we had a utility, we would look at this money for the
Right.
town. So what is in the town budget now? There must be a line item for stormwater under the DPW umbrella.
yeah. I have a couple of line items. So I
Okay,
have a drainage line item.
Yep.
Which is, well, I'm gonna look it up. It's- And then I have a stormwater line item. Give you what I got. Well, then I have line items for labor, but, that's for everything we do, right?
okay,
It's
so
not
a fraction of
just
that, percentage
stormwater.
of that would be stormwater.
Right. So the drainage line is $60,000 this year. And the stormwater line is, what's usually 100,000. I rolled over some money from last year that I didn't spend, so I have 141,000 this year.
you haven't gone through all that already?
Wow, the drainage
Yeah.
line I've spent, 59,000 out of
Yeah.
the 60.
Yeah,
And the stormwater line, I'm at almost 86,000.
Actually, I thought it would be worse than that.
Yeah,
And that included the repairs that you did in response to the September storm.
yeah,
Okay, so you're still in budget after all that?
somehow, yeah,
Yeah, wow.
yeah.
And you can't.
Spring is here now, so.
So you don't know exactly how much labor, but there is a significant,
Yeah, so. Well, I did that, tracking, where is that? Let's see. Oh, where did I put that? Forget where I put that spreadsheet. Stormwater. Yeah, so what did I say? Fiscal 23. It's spent in labor approximately $22,000.
so there's $250,000 about. That's pretty much in the town budget right now that would come out of the town budget and would get transferred to the utility. Does that make sense, or am I thinking about that?
Yeah, I think the drainage line definitely would come out in the stormwater line,
And
right?
you
So
would-
that's
Okay, and then and
160,000.
you would put less stress on the labor.
Right.
and like 3 people worth of labor.
Alright, so that being said, so you got 1.1 million that you want, and maybe you would take that 225 and knock it down to like 1/5 of that, as you spread out.
225 pays for the new equipment purchases.
Pretty weird, huh?
Yeah, well done.
All I'm saying is, okay, so this really isn't 1.1, it's probably more like. Maybe 900K, a little more than that. And then
Yeah.
the money that would come out of the town is $250,000. So now it's more like 650K on top of, okay. So that's more manageable now. So I think it's good, because I'm looking at 250 per household for 4,000 households in town. And you want $1 million budget. But when you realize that you're already paying for this and that's gonna come out of the town budget, it makes it a little bit more appetizing or easier to swallow.
That's good for the public outreach and
Well,
education
I can
piece.
sell this to
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
And
they
when you
would.
get
Yeah.
them 250, you're gonna say.
That's
"Oh,
right.
That's override territory right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that being said, so I'm doing very hard to get this into the manageable number that the people, the town will say, okay.
That number is still based off of only residents, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, so this would still come down because it's pessimistic because we're just
Yeah.
putting the burden on residents. And Unitil.
And then,
Yeah.
how do we factor in the chapter 90 pieces of that? Because there's some,
Yes, that's the other piece.
yeah,
So, and yeah,
because that will cover some of it in future years. Every year, there's gonna be some chapter 90 used.
yes. So if you get 450 from chapter 9, now you're down to,
But
you're only asking for another $250,000 on top of what you've already got. Am I thinking the right thing? Or am I thinking the wrong way?
Well, I think that's gonna limit us in what we can do. I think we need both.
Okay, okay, so you want the chapter 90 on top of this?
Yeah,
Okay,
right. It's like the Flat Hill Page Street.
yes,
That could easily get to $1 million by the time
Yeah.
we're done. It's just for one project.
I understand that.
Yeah.
okay,
I get it.
the personnel, the fringe benefits, is that,
It's a guess.
but that's the health insurance, all the
Yeah.
benefits, okay,
Yeah,
because that's the,
yeah, the
it's been,
enterprise fund has to cover it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so I
And
think what I heard you just say is, this is what you would like, but on top of that, you would want the chapter 90 to do these bigger projects, or at least complement it with this.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So I'm on team Bill here.
Yeah.
Trying very hard to make this work from a,
Yeah,
make, so that it flies.
and this would be looking to go into effect FY 26.
if we could.
I mean. Yeah. Not soon,
If,
that's the goal, right?
if we, okay, if we get a utility
Is
next
that right?
year.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do it at special town meeting. That might be too soon, right?
November,
Yeah.
that'd be too quick.
Yeah,
I think a year from now.
I think. We'll listen to, whatever next year's gonna bring.
I did bump into Jack Rabbit, who's on the assessor's board,
Mhm.
and asked him about the nonprofits, and he says they do not pay property taxes. He said they get a bill, but there's no tax owed. They said they get registered with the town,
Okay,
but they don't actually have a bill per se.
so does that mean we don't charge them for stormwater too? A
Well,
lot lower,
I assume they still pay for things like electricity and gas
Yeah.
and water
Yeah.
utilities, so.
If you consider utility and they're exempt from property
True.
taxes, it kind of
Yeah.
makes sense that it would be.
yeah,
And honestly, some of the big parking lots, they really contribute to.
yes, I agree.
They take advantage of our stormwater system, so it kind of makes sense to hit them with like a $500,000 annual.
Yeah, it should be a 2 to 3 digit figure instead of a 4 to 5 digit figure.
Do we have any kind of a survey of, well, okay, two things. No, we'll start with the second one. Do we have any kind of a survey of like how big and how many of what size parking lots we have in the town? Cause I assume when we assess what it is that they're gonna be paying, it's gonna be based off of parking lot or like total parking lot and building footprint.
Permeable, right?
Do we have any of that kind of information?
Don't believe we have that data
Okay.
yet, so that's where we'd have to rely
Yeah.
on CEI. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So. Okay, so we've got kind of budgetary ideas of what we're gonna be looking for. Ooh,
Why does that keep doing that?
Email coming in.
Oh, I thought it was someone dialing,
Yeah.
trying to dial in. Oh, okay.
um,
Oh, Jennifer, I don't think, she says it doesn't go to the right thing. Well, it did for me, right? I'm here. Let's see what she says. I thought it was tomorrow. Whoops.
yeah, I almost
Oh.
did that too, because it was
Today's
from
Wednesday.
Yeah,
last Thursday to this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'd gotten out of my day clothes before I remembered it was tonight. Just in all my comfy stuff.
so send her this link, see if she can do it.
Okay, just kind of projecting out some of what the next steps are, just so I can kind of keep it in my head where we're going. We've got a rough budgetary idea. I suppose the next steps, if this is something that we turn over to CEI, is, what kind of footprint do the businesses in town have? And then I suppose we take that, we've got a generic number we use for residentials, I think, was that correct? And then between the two of those, we should be able to get like a rough idea of how many people and businesses will be paying in. And then I think I'm assuming we've got to write up like bylaws and specs and stuff. Okay, great.
Yeah, so, I see what Nick's had. I gave him the budget. He said he was gonna jump on it, but I haven't heard from him yet. And, yeah, I'll ask him about impervious services at businesses.
Mhm.
Where do we go from here?
Do you have historical data or is this just like 2023?
What's that?
I'm sorry, for the budget. So the
Jenny's in the
stormwater, the
meeting.
drainage and the
Oh,
waiver.
yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't have to do it now because it's just something, I think it's information that would be valuable if we had to present it to residents. So we'll see what the trends are. So if there's a trend there, because our climate is changing, I mean, Hickory Lake doesn't freeze over in the winter that much. It used to ice out in
Mhm.
April. And it used to be like 6 to 8 weeks of snowmobiling on it, and people don't snowmobile on it anymore,
Right,
and it ices out February, March. So you gotta, and the storms that we're seeing, so if there's a trend there, we'll see it in your data, I guess what I'm saying.
yeah, so I've only been tracking just over a year and a half or so.
Oh, okay, so you can't go back
Yeah.
to, can you go back to 2022 or no?
No, when did
Okay.
when did I start? Still haven't opened. It's like I started in, 22 of October of 22. That's when I started
Okay,
tracking.
so we don't have that information.
Yeah, before that. Then I can take some guesses, but.
All right, if it's important and it makes sense to include it in what we present to people, then well, maybe we'll ask you to do that. But if we can get away without it, we'll
Jenny, if you can hear us, so far, Bill's given us some budgetary estimates. Oh, I should have Deck, if you can hear it first, before I just keep talking.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm so sorry that I'm late.
No worries. Basically, just to catch you up, we've been given some budgetary estimates. And we're just kind of collecting what our next steps are. What's gonna happen with budgets, what kind of footprints and taxpayer information we need.
Okay. And I'll watch the beginning after
Sure.
it's available.
Can you email these?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. And then Jenny will have a copy too.
Does anybody have anything else in particular with thoughts? For our board discussion portion of this?
I had taken some time to kind of organize my thoughts and put together an outline for what we would present to the public. But there's a line item here on your agenda where it says, items for next meeting, how and when to start public outreach.
Yes,
So we've got to talk about it now, we can talk about it.
yeah, let's go for it.
Oh, okay. So I like to organize my thoughts, so I put this together. And what I'll do is I'll email this out to everybody. And maybe what you can do is you can add comments to it with your Word program and get them back to me. And I can incorporate them.
Yep.
Oh, I gave, oh, never mind. So this in my mind, it's manageable in size, the information that's here that we want to present to people. It seems to me this is all really critical information that's really nice to know. And if you were a resident, this is information that you would want to see presented to you. So in my mind, this is like an outline for a PowerPoint presentation that Bill would give to the town.
Maybe.
Or Nick.
Well, Nick, there you go,
Yeah.
somebody was
Sure.
professional, yeah. Not that you weren't professional.
Yeah.
So an introduction, basically a chart from Bill's presentation, has like a charter statement, which is nice. I have a little star next to this 1B that says why utility. So the question I have, and I think this has to be answered, is why is this a better path forward than a line item in the town budget and operating as usual? So why don't you just say, this is how much money I need. Give me more money, I quit.
That doesn't work.
Yeah. That doesn't work.
So why do we need utility? Why utility? Why is it
Enterprise
better?
fund.
Then we
Right.
need the answer to that. I can't help it. That's the only
Yeah.
question I can't answer in my mind.
That one, I think to one of the earlier discussions we had is the fact that having a line item for stormwater doesn't necessarily mean that we have the personnel to like do it. They get, whatever the DPW's first job is gets done instead of the stormwater stuff. So the reason we need a stormwater utility, so we've got a group of people that are specifically dedicated to doing stormwater. That way they don't have to go off and pave a road or,
It's also
do
a
tree
dedicated
cutting.
fund,
Yep.
like the sewer enterprise.
So you wouldn't be allowed to intermingle funds. This would be dedicated to stormwater, and your charter would be, this is stormwater fund.
Right, right, so that was a good start, and then also the federal government, our permits them as for.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Says, we have to do certain things, we have to maintain our.
So-
Stormwater system.
So when I mail this out,
If we can't,
if
they
you
could
could put what you
potentially.
said in words and add it to that line item in red ink or red text or something like that. and
Yeah.
You could add what you just said.
Sure,
I would really appreciate it. And then what I'll do is if you guys are okay with it, if you want to do this, I'm not gonna step on your toes, but I don't mind doing it. I'll expand the scope of this and pull in, like I have budget information here. I can pull it into the budget line item here. So what other towns have done, so I think that's in the CEI presentation.
Mhm.
So that information is available to us. Budget, so past year's budget versus actuals, and that's why I asked you if you had past data, but we
Yeah.
don't. So it is what it is, and hopefully people won't say, well, what happened 5 years ago? And the spreadsheet information, I think you just quoted, I can run with. So the labor number you gave me is 22K. And I'll work with that unless you want to refine it. I think it's better. projections based on weather patterns and known problem areas. So I'm wondering if there's, because I know we had to do research in Hickory Lake to understand what the weather patterns are gonna be, to understand how, what the likelihood that we would be able to refill the lake, and we draw it down 4 feet. And people were worried they wouldn't be able to come back, so we had to do some research. And we found out that in response to like the changing climate, there's like a corridor coming from the Gulf of moisture, it's just dumping on us. And we're actually, it's getting worse for us. So maybe I can find out, where that information is and try to pull it in. Proposed stormwater utility budget, boom. All right, and we had talked about a residential flat rate. It'd be nice to know how many residences there are. We speculate there's 4,000, but it'd be nice to
Yeah,
nail it down, if anybody knows that. Otherwise, I'm gonna
yeah,
have to
I
do,
can get that, cause we were just talking about that for the trash contract too, so.
yeah,
We can't even Board of Assessors too.
Yeah,
This
that's where I was gonna go.
The FY 24 assessed value spreadsheet,
all right.
which has business, anyone who has pays property taxes on there. All the different property codes.
Okay, and talk about the commercial tiers based on non-permeable areas, and see, I would do the survey.
Mhm.
And maybe I'd like the idea of the commercial tiers, so, maybe we'll just
Mhm.
propose that and see if anybody spits on it. Tasks and projects, current tasks, and maybe you could actually complement that. I just, brainstormed off the top of my head. We have to support MS4 surveying and the best management practices demo project at the high school and middle school. And I don't know if there's anything more associated with that MS4 besides those two.
Yeah, sweeping is in there too,
Okay, sweeping,
and there's a lot of reporting. That might, line item for stormwater is, a lot of that goes to CEI for reporting. And sampling, and I can give you a lot more on
yeah,
that.
okay, so if you could
Yeah.
expand the scope of the current tasks, that would be awesome. And the proposed larger projects that you just had started mentioning, and I think some of it is here. And you said mentioned Flat Hill and Page Street. I remember you mentioning something about West Townsend in one of our past meetings.
Yeah, in New West Townsend, but actually my guys are out there this week. Trying to open up some drainage. And
Okay,
there's
so if you
issues
could
out there.
identify the,
Yeah,
so this is, think of it like a 10-year plan now. So we got residents coming in from Flat Hill primarily, but I'm sure there's other residents that are too shy to come in because it took me like a couple decades for me to
Yeah.
overcome my fear of going into these meetings.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there's other areas, and so you would basically have a 10-year plan with this money, and maybe with some of that chapter 90 money, you would basically, this is gonna be dedicated to like these bigger projects that are gonna cost $1 million. And you can basically say, this is what you could do with these $1 million projects. I'm assuming that maybe there's like a handful of them, and once you knock them off, then you're not gonna have any more $1 million projects anymore. I'm just thinking out loud, cross your fingers. Administration of the utility, the DPW director manages the funds, plans, projects, and reports to the town. Stormwater bill to be separate line item included in the property tax bill. Resident proactive measures, so this is something that I had kind of thought people can do things independently on their own. And I guess if you think about it, you can't touch your property without spending thousands and thousands of dollars. And so in contrast to that, you're only spending a couple $100 here every year, you're getting this whole town-wide thing to happen, which is, think about it, when everybody pools their resources together, things become very affordable. And maybe that's what I'm trying to get at with this,
yeah,
this line item 6 here. And information resources for residents, so the 1 in 100 residents that's actually gonna research this after we present it to them, there'll be places that they can go, we should point that out to them. So if there's other bullets here, that are line items that really are critical areas of interest that people would like to know about, let me know and I'll add it to the outline. And populate it with as much information as you can. Maybe over the next 6 months, we'll have something that'll, be presentable and compelling, and people will say, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think, Bill, you said it at a previous meeting, you called it how to fight against people calling it the rain tax.
Yeah.
I never heard that before, but I can see that
Right.
as coming up,
Yeah, John, this is good, I think.
yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
I'll mail it out to
Sorry.
everybody,
Yeah.
when I get home. And, I will ping you if I don't hear back from you within a week
Mhm.
and say, please contribute in any manner, any way you can. And, we'll just kind of like grow this.
And, I'll run it by Nick too.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
see what he thinks, maybe.
Sure, yeah, he's a good person to give,
Yeah,
Yeah, cause they've done this before, they've
yeah.
started
see
in other
what's
towns,
worked in
right?
other towns and what hasn't.
yeah, maybe if we had an outreach kind of sort of presentation from other towns, that would be a good guideline or
Yeah,
something we could leverage off of.
He probably has a list of FAQs and, you
yeah,
know,
great.
common feedback he gets. It's nice to preempt that.
Guess we can look at other towns too. I know what's the Chelmsford one, and they just kept harping on, well, there's permits, we have to do what's in the permit, or we're gonna get fined. And people ask, well, what are the fines? And they can be significant, but then, somebody else said, well, they've only fined like 2 towns. So people are like, they hear that, and they're willing to take the risk instead of spending money. But
So.
I don't think their presentation was
Fines,
good.
do they monitor the, outflow from our stormwater?
Well, it's the reporting that we have to do, so you don't report, or they
Okay.
don't like what they're seeing, they
Okay.
might come out and say hello and check on you,
Yeah, I
right?
just came from dropping off my grandkids to Mason, New Hampshire. They don't use salt on the roads, they just use sand. Just thought that was interesting. I was wondering if that's bad, because we got away from sand.
Mhm.
I'm assuming we got away from sand because we did not want to push that stuff into the stormwater
That's
system.
part of it, yeah, and sand doesn't melt ice.
Yes, that was the other complaint. So all the roads are still frozen.
Yeah, they would be.
Does it, are they worried about the freshwater streams, what it does?
The, salt?
Yeah.
That could be, but sand's gonna contaminate too, right?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah. Yep.
And it's gritty, right, so it wears on the road and in your drainage systems. And then it can become airborne and then become a pollutant to your lungs too, so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons why we don't use sand anymore.
Okay.
That seems pretty good. I think from there we go on to our previous meeting minutes. Which I
read all 3 and they all look great.
yeah, I'm gonna open by apologizing to Danielle. She's absolutely been doing her job, and I have not been paying attention.
Yeah, and it was nice that, I don't know who took the time, but they did photocopy. They did scan in all those
Yeah,
pictures and put them in, and CEI's presentation was at the back end too.
Yeah,
So all those resources are media accessible, which is really nice. Cause I hate trying to figure out where the heck stuff is.
If everybody's happy, then should we
Mhm.
just take them as one vote?
Sure.
yeah.
Somebody wants to motion?
I motion to approve the minutes from the 3 meetings, 12/18, 1/18, and 2/22.
Second,
Motioned and seconded, all in favor? Oh, actually, we're gonna do a roll call since we're in digital. Jenny, could we get your vote first, please? Renee?
I,
Nope, it's Colin. I'm sorry.
John.
John, there we go.
Oh.
Yeah, just let me struggle here for a while.
Putting that dog, you gotta let her kind of think of it. Decides to sit down and lay down.
Aye. Aye.
It's
And aye from myself. Those
been a
are
long
our
day.
Meeting minutes. I put things like the BMP in ongoing business. I assume we don't have anything new to do it, just keep it there and continue it until it's happened.
Yeah, I'm thinking late June,
Sure.
after school gets out to start. I printed the plans out if you did want to look at them.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
I'll do that on my own
Yeah.
now.
Are those for us to have,
Yeah,
our copies?
yeah, yeah, I can email those too.
Yeah, except, oh, wow.
I did, is there a lot, are we gonna talk about that? Oh, actually, it's ongoing business. Are we ready to go on to that? Yeah, I had one question.
Okay.
So there's a lot of drainage coming in from other areas that are bypassing this. And I couldn't help but feel like, does it make sense to try to filter that here before it goes further downstream? There's a drain right here, and if you did and if you did like right there, you could enter that, and there's another one right here.
You know, so show it.
So
There
I'm
might
giving you a
be-
very good reason why you don't do that. You
Yeah.
just, because the area of impermeable surface that this is capturing seems smallish compared to the size of the project. I couldn't help but feel like it'd be nice if we could catch some of that other drainage. Does this go to the library? You know, that retention area?
No, it doesn't.
Does it get filtered before it goes into the broader system?
No.
Does it make sense to even think about trying to get it in here?
I can run it by Nick, to see why they.
I looked at the
do what they
elevations and
do.
this is a little bit low. You're looking at feet here. You're like
Yeah.
feet and inches. It's like 1 or 2 feet, 1 or 2 inches. This is like about 2 feet lower than this. So this would have to like go down for you to take this and instead of having it go there, have it go here. And then this would have to be like 2 feet deeper, and this would have to be deeper, but I still think it would work if you, the outflow for this, it would still work. This is really low. The outflow for this is really low compared to this. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's my
Mhm.
personal comment. It'd be nice to treat that, and there's a lot of impermeable that's feeding this.
so it looks like this whole parking area is coming into it, right?
Well, you know, the slope is this way.
Okay.
And there's catch basin here, and that's going to this drain, which is bypassing it over here. So we're just
Mhm.
capturing this little bit right here and right around the
Mhm.
corner, and there's another catch basin up here, which is going into this drain, which bypasses it. So the impermeable area that this is capturing is not,
Not too
it doesn't
bad.
appear to be as big as one would like to see. But if you capture this or that or both and expand the
Mhm.
scope of that to include that, I can't help but feel like this would clean a lot of water.
Yeah.
Where you,
I'll check with them. see
Sure,
what-
he may
Yeah.
have a,
Mhm.
oh yeah, we thought about that,
Right.
couldn't do it, yeah.
Or it might be there's too much water.
Yeah, it's amazing how
'Cause-
gentle the slope is, and these
Yeah.
guys are like lower underground than this, so he may not be able to get it to that elevation. But if that whole
Mhm.
assembly were dropped maybe a foot or two, then you might be able to pull it in.
Mhm.
Is there gonna be a gate around that to stop kids, like my grandson from
No.
playing in it?
Right,
Is
there's
it a
nothing
hazard
planned.
or?
Yeah. Is this showing elevations? How much of it changing? Yes.
Yeah, so this is high compared to where the outflow is. So this could actually, if you go 2 feet down, you could pull in that some of those other main drains. And see how low that is with respect to this? This tells you how high is that? 546.4. And the outflow is, what's the outflow pipe?
542.
Yeah, 4 feet.
Yeah.
I can, and so what goes in here goes through the ground and it works its way into this underneath that
Right,
concrete structure?
this is the pipe coming in.
Yes, and this is like a
Right.
concrete wall, but it's underneath it, the water flows underneath it to get into this area? Is that how it filters it?
Right. They're not still working. Yeah, so water will come out of the pipe, hit the forebay, which is all just
Right, and that
rocks,
fills
right?
up, yep.
Slow it down.
Yeah,
Hopefully a lot of the sand drops out of
does it
it.
spill over that, or does
Then-
it, does it kind of, does it leach into here?
Yeah, I'm not, where's the wall over here? Who's? Maybe little spreader. There's one on the spreader.
What is this, is it, this the spreader? the
Yeah,
concrete
that's
structure?
it there, right?
Yeah, yeah, and you can see it right there, it doesn't go
Right.
down very far.
Yeah, so much leach through.
Oh,
Or go.
or spill over, yeah, I don't know, I'm not, see. So this is CEI that did all these plans,
It
right?
is, yeah.
They would know.
Mhm.
I can't help but feel like it's a good question.
Yeah, yeah, I don't see a detail on that spreader. It's supposed to look like. Yeah, would be on this page. But did I print any pages? I think I did. No, D2, there's another page. There's another one.
Well,
I'm missing a page. That might be fun.
yeah. But you emailed them to everybody, so they should be on your computer.
Yeah, I got it right here. E1. Right, this, am I crazy?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages, right? There's only 5 in this.
Mhm.
I'm missing a sheet. That's not good.
Is D2.
Do you have D2?
I have what you emailed everybody, I'm looking at
Yeah.
it now. There's EX1, is that one of them? Yep, EX1. PR1. PR2, and you're looking for D2?
It's the last page.
I have D1, yeah, you did not email D2
Yeah,
to
I don't
everybody.
seem to have it. Okay, so I don't really find this. Got some older plans, but. I guess they forgot to give me the last page.
I would love to know if we could capture that. And the impermeable area, from what I can tell by looking at the elevations in this, and the parking areas, it would just get huge.
I will find out.
Cool.
Yeah, no one in D2. Whoops, I guess I didn't look at that too close yet.
All right, well, from there, we'll see what information might be happening. We'll see what CEI has to say about it, if they can give us some
Mhm.
little bits of filling in. We've already gone over starting our public outreach. I made a mistake on the upcoming events. I would like to keep it every third Thursday, if that's fine, in which case that'll be April 18th. Not the 25th.
That's school vacation week, is that okay?
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay, no.
it's
let's
okay
stick
with me, but
Might be burned out on children who want to get out of the house. Yeah, I mean, if that's fine for everybody else here, then that's fine.
It's fine with me.
Great, all right,
April 18th is one?
April 18th. And I think that being the last thing, unless anybody's got something else, I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor.
Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Wonderful. All right. Thanks, everybody. That
Awesome.
is the meeting.
Cool.
Thanks
Have
for
a good night,
John.
Jenny.
Good stuff.
Good night.
Good night, Jenny.
Good stuff too. I mean,
Sorry.
Yeah,